Pleased with the class that we were able to secure today. I think that it's a group of really fine young men who represent the standards and excellence of UCLA academically, athletically, and from a character standpoint. And I think the Bruin Nation will be very, very happy when they get to know these guys a little bit better. A lot goes into putting a class together. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that don't get the credit that they deserve, and I would like to start by just mentioning a couple of them. You know, our travel department, led by Audrey Castillo, does an amazing job. You know, they've got 10 coaches traveling across the country. They're trying to secure flights, change flights, get cars, get hotels. Then they've got to bring in all the official visitors and their families and set up hotels, and they do a heck of a job. Our academic support staff meets with all of our recruits, and they do a tremendous job as well. They spend their weekends here meeting with the families, talking to them about the support, the great support that we offer here at UCLA. We spend over $1.5 million as a department on academic support for our student athletes, and I think that's one of the reasons that we do so well. As an example of that, 43 of our football players made the honor roll during the fall quarter. And all but one of our freshmen scholarship players made the honor roll, and the guy that didn't had a 2.9. I think that's just a great credit to those young men. I think it's a great credit to the people that work in our academic support. Our compliance department works hand in hand with our coaches as we evaluate these players, evaluate whether or not they'll be eligible to get into UCLA and help us contribute, and they do a tremendous job. And then our student athletes, our players, those are the guys that sell the program. You know, they are great representatives of what we're trying to do from a culture standpoint. They give us great feedback at the end of a weekend on what they feel from the recruits, whether they believe that those are the young men that will fit into our program, demonstrate the characteristics that we are after, and I want to just thank our players for all the hard work they did. But we're excited about this class. It's a group that will add to a couple of classes we've put together in past years, and hopefully get us back to where we want, which is competing for the Pac-12 championship. Any questions?
Jim, Jalen's obviously the headline of this class. You already have him for spring ball. What sort of role do you see him potentially being able to carve out immediately next season?
It's been great to have Jalen and Darnay and Jimmy Jaggers on campus, and they did a tremendous job recruiting this class as well. And just the impact that those three have already had, you see it in the weight room. Their work ethic is fantastic. You see it in the classroom. They're doing very well in school. And then you're just around their infectious personalities on a daily basis, and they're the kind of young men that we want in this program. And I think they're all three very special players. You asked about Jalen. I think he's rare. You know, I think he's got a rare blend of size and speed and athleticism and tenacity and intelligence. This is a young man that is a tremendous student and one of the most pleasurable young men you'll ever be around.
Jim, how much did this day fall the way you expected it? Were there any last second, oh, we got him or we didn't get him?
No, you know, you're nervous until you get the final approval from compliance, and this, you know, the written notice comes in, whether it's electronic or through the fax. I think they all came electronically this year. Just one surprise, but you know, we had 18, maybe 19 scholarships that we could give, and I believe we signed 18. We've got a couple of graduate transfers that we're going to add to this team, hopefully in the spring or fall, that are targeted. So we're about where we wanted to be.
Your program's been on the rise. You were really hurt by injuries last year. Do you feel this class continues this trend, or is it in any way plateauing?
No, yeah. Last year was awful, obviously. I think, you know, to go 4-8 and be able to secure a class like this says a lot about UCLA and what it has to offer from an athletic and academic standpoint. It says a lot about the people that I already mentioned that are involved in recruiting. And, you know, I think eventually these young men will grow into guys that will help us reach our goal, which is, you know, our immediate goal, which is to win the Pac-12 championship.
Hey, Jim, talk a little bit about the recruitment of Zavia. He came in here and visited, I think, when Coach Fraley wasn't even here yet.
He did. This kid's really unique and really special, and I think you guys are going to love to hear his story out of his mouth. I'll just give you some tidbits. He's from the Ivory Coast. His mother was killed when he was very, very young. He grew up with a father who played professional soccer. He moved to Philadelphia. He eventually found his way to Austin, Texas, and moved in with Patrick and Julie Kelly and their family. Tremendous people. It's a you know, I don't want to compare it exactly, but you could say it's a little bit of a blindside story. This kid's special now. He's one of the most intelligent young men that I've ever had the chance to meet. I think if you got to see his interview this morning and the way he presented himself as he announced that he was coming to UCLA, you'd agree that he has a lot of class. Once we hired Hank, we got Hank on the phone with him immediately, and then Hank went and saw him. I think more than anything for Stephon, it was the opportunity to come to UCLA and get a great education, play for a staff that has years and years of NFL experience, play for a coach that started 123 games in the NFL as an offensive lineman and an offensive coordinator that's played for 3 Super Bowl winning head coaches as well as Jim Harbaugh and Steve Spurrier, and be around, you know, this great program. But it was kind of fast and furious with Stephon.
He was ruled ineligible, I think, twice out of his last 3 years there. Is there any
He was what?
ruled ineligible?
Okay.